Am I the asshole? Because I told my parents to choose between living in my garage or a nursing home. I don't drive and live in my forever house with my dogs. My kids are grown up and I'm a widow. I converted my garage into a legal guest house with everything a person needs for when the kids visit. Independent washroom, kitchen, everything. My parents have recently asked me if they can move in with me. I agreed and talked to my kids to let them know that if they came for a visit the garage was taken so they would have to stay in the house. My parents showed up on the appointed day and the kids showed up with their families to help get them moved in. And they actually had already arranged a hotel for one family so we would not be crowded. My parents were confused as to why we were moving their stuff into the garage. I told them that was where they were staying. They said that they thought they could move into my house since I have 5 bedrooms. I explained that I actually have 2 bedrooms since one room is my office where I see clients, one is my private office, and one is my hobby room. The spare bedroom is mostly for my mutts. They said that they wanted to live in the house not out in the garage like Fonzie. I said it was a take it or leave it situation. If they didn't want the garage they could move into a nursing home or something. They are upset that they are living rent-free in a private guest house that is fully up to code. Not the asshole. If it's a converted guest house that's completely up to code I don't see a reason that they would want to go into the house as everything you have in the house you have in the guest house too. My friend recently turned her shed into a beautiful guest house, kitchen appliances, private bathroom the works. Her parents are currently living there and they don't have a problem with it. They like the privacy and they like being close to their child. Wow, your parents are spoiled. A rent-free, up-to-code apartment sounds pretty sweet. If it isn't good enough for them, then they can make other arrangements. But if you let them into your main house it will become their house. And you won't be able to get away from them. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. This is not the garage. This is a converted living space. A free converted living space. And Fonzie didn't live in the garage. He lived in an apartment above the garage. They wanted main house for you to be their cook, maid and carer. In the guest house they have to fend for themselves. Stop calling it the garage. They hear that word and it sounds like a nasty space. Start calling it the guest house. It's all in how you're selling it. Tell them it's my roof and you'll do as I say JK. But honestly, a rent-free place of their own where they're not in your way and you're not in theirs seems like the best deal for everyone. Obviously there will be times when they visit you in the main house, but I think you're being fair. Not the asshole. Weird that the topic never came up before they moved in. Info you didn't bother communicating any of this beforehand? Reminds me of something a friend went through. His wife's parents went bankrupt wild spenders and got thrown out of their rented apartment. He offered to buy a condo for them to live in. He found a nice one in a good area they knew and took them there, telling them he was ready to close on it. They told him they didn't like it and wanted something bigger and nicer. So he told them to buy their effing condo themselves. He got divorced the next year. Not the asshole. I'd be totally fine with that. Rent-free? Sign me up. I'll adopt you and everything. Well, I would actually prefer the garage to have a little more autonomy. Not the asshole at all. Frankly, if I were your parents, I would prefer the free, up-to-code, private apartment that comes with their own kitchen plus, there wouldn't be the worry of interrupting your work. Not sure why they can't just be appreciative of the opportunity you've offered to them. Sorry you're dealing with this headache. Not the asshole. You might not have made it totally clear that they would be in the guest house, not moving in with you. Maybe make it clear that you want them to maintain their independence and the guest house is the best way for that. Stick to your plan. Do not let them bully you. You will lose your autonomy in your own home once they decide to take over. Not the asshole. Sounds like you didn't explain it fully to them. Why would they not know this before they showed up with their stuff? ESH. Not the asshole. Their accommodations are up to code and this arrangement works for you. They are free to seek other arrangements. ESH for not having a convo about living arrangements until the day they moved in. Situations like this come up all the time in Am I the Asshole? Don't make big life decisions with other people without talking about it. Marriage, kids, roommates, etc. NTA for offering the garage. Not the asshole. Something not considered, but I'm assuming that the garage apartment, their bathroom, laundry, kitchen, and other living space they would use is all on one level so they don't have to deal with stairs. When you get older this is huge. If they were living in the house they'd be navigating the stairs several times a day, and for the elderly that's just dangerous. Don't old people think Fonzie is cool? Not the asshole. Rent-free and a sense of autonomy? Perhaps your mom can do some things to make it more home-like. This is a good time to use an expression only used by old farts like me: don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Bet they thought you'd wait on them. Take care of them. Not the asshole. If they are saying your generous offer isn't acceptable now, don't let them move into your main home or they will likely find a lot they want changed in it too. Can I live there? I'm down for living in a guest house for free. Not the asshole. Not out in the garage like Fonzie. Lol, love it. 2 cars ago, I drove myself and my parents to town. My dad was in the passenger seat and mom sat in the back. She said these seats are uncomfortable. I told her she could ride in the trunk. My dad laughed and my mom was silent. Not the asshole, but I think when you said that they could move in you should have mentioned where they're going. Living in a guest house rent-free would be life-changing. If this is the norm I don't see an issue. I think it could have been better communicated because it doesn't seem like you told them ahead of time. Not the asshole. Not the asshole, but I'm pretty floored that you, a therapist or life coach, apparently never thought to tell them where they'd be staying. Surely you knew they might want to move into the house proper? It wasn't right to drop it on them when they arrived. Esh for not clarifying all this information before moving. Like Fonzie, smiley face. If I was old enough to need to live with my kids, I'd much rather have my own separate area. Not the asshole, but I'd maybe revisit the conversations about what this arrangement looks like moving forward because it seems like there wasn't much detail. For example, will you be planning on making adaptations as they get older and develop issues with mobility? Have you had conversations about their finances and whether they will pay for in-home help when it's needed? All of this may be many years away, but it would be better to start having those discussions now rather than navigating surprises along the way. It will be 100x more fraught when they are dealing with new physical limitations or financial anxiety. Not the asshole. They were expecting to move into your house and leech off you for food, etc. I don't understand. You agreed to let 2 grown adults live with you. And between 3 adults, no one talked about the finer details of the situation? About utilities usage, or noise, or them living in the garage? Not the asshole. Sounds like our parents have a decision to make. You have a room in the house for your dogs but not your parents. You're the asshole. Not the asshole. I'm assuming your 5BR home has more than 1 floor. That's a bad idea for the elderly. They are much safer in a single-floor environment. While your parents may think they want to live in the main house with you, I can almost guarantee that they would find it very difficult to adjust to living in someone else's home, and following someone else's rules, schedule, etc. By being in their own space, they have all the freedom they had in their house, with none of the maintenance, and you're literally a few steps away. I don't understand their thinking, TBH. You're the asshole for posting something that seems false rage bait, but on the off chance it's real, you're still TA for your inability to communicate with your parents. Bonus assholery points because you absolutely knew that you didn't communicate adequately. Pretty impressive assholery.